And I got a legal pad, a yellow legal paper, the kind lawyers use for writing notes, and a pen. And I said, okay, I have this belief about being instantaneous, that everything is really happening now in this moment. So I said, well, what can I change right now in my life that was a belief that I've had all of my life for like 42 years? So what belief do I have about myself that I've had for 42 years that I now want to change now? Bang. Instantaneously, I want me to have a different experience. In this moment I am living, I want to be a totally different person. A person I have never been for 42 years. So I found out the secret. And it's very simple. Again, like all secrets, it's no secret. It's a natural law of the universe. We simply don't know those laws. So since we don't know them, we can't apply them when? Now in our life. So therefore we don't get the results we want. But I said, okay, for 42 years I had a belief that I was not very bright. Why? Everybody told me this when I was young. Everybody said, you're a great athlete, but you're not very smart. So I became a better athlete and I became dumber. Just because this is what everybody perceived to be the truth. I accepted it as my truth, it became my belief, and that's the way I ended up living 42 years of my life. So I found out that there are two words that comprise three letters that are pretty much the most powerful words we can ever use. It's a phrase called I am. I am is very interesting actually. Now I'm not a religious person, although I'm highly spiritual. But in religion I heard that Jesus or God or somebody said, I am that I am. And that simple phrase, I see now, even among religious people, is probably the most misunderstood phrase in the Bible. I am that I am. As simple as it is, most people still don't get it. Now let me tell you what I get out of it. I am is something very interesting. I am is a time dimension. I am means the present moment. I am means now. I am doesn't mean I'm going to be, I will someday, I'll try very hard, I'll put a lot of effort, I will suffer and sacrifice. I am means this present moment. That means in this present moment that you make the declaration I am, you actually are that idea. And when you declare that with two elements called faith and trust, when you make this declaration that you are an idea of yourself and you have faith and trust and truly believe that this is right now who you are, then there is nothing you ever have to become. Why? You're already it. Now understand the miracle of this concept. When you make a statement, I am, in the statement, when it is supported with belief, trust, and faith, at that moment, you already possess, now listen carefully, you already possess all the knowledge, skill, ability, and talent you will ever need to be the person you simply declared you are now. I am this idea. So to put it to the test, I simply said, okay, I can understand that. I have strong belief and faith. So I said, I am a poet. Now, why did I pick poetry? Because English was my worst subject in school. If it wasn't for my Japanese girlfriend doing my term papers, I never would have graduated from high school. That is the truth. So I picked poetry because it was something that if I chose to express myself that way, everybody that knew me in elementary school, in high school, would never believe Mike Stone writes poetry. You mean that dumb athlete guy, he writes poetry? Give me a break. They would never believe that. And that's one of the reasons I chose that means of expressing who I am now. I am a poet. And in that declaration, I received quite effortlessly from the universe all the knowledge, skill, ability, and talent right now, boom, instantaneously to write poetry. Instantly. I didn't have to go to school. I didn't have to get a degree in English literature. I never went to college. I've never written poetry before. But in that declaration and in that moment, I am a poet. I am a poet. What do poets do? They write poetry. So I sat down and wrote my first poem. What's the problem? Why that title? Because I'm looking around. What's the problem with everybody? Why are they having so much difficulty in life? What's the problem? There are no problems. So that was my first poem. I went on to write nearly 100 poems and publish 2 books of poetry. Now, wait a minute. That's impossible. I mean, but you didn't have any formal training. You didn't go to school. You didn't get a degree in English literature. Remember, you can't spell or write. You don't know grammar. No, but there's a friend of mine called Google that does. I will simply get help from my friend Google. And all the things I don't know, I can acquire that knowledge instantaneously now in being a poet. So I did it instantly. So instantaneously, all I ended up doing was writing poetry. I wrote so many poems, I didn't know what I wrote. One day my wife would say, "Oh, listen, I got to read this poem to you. You're really going to love it." I said, because I was into poetry then. Why? Because I was a poet. So I said, "Yeah, okay, I'd like to hear it." So she read it. I said, "Wow, that is good. That guy is clever. What insight, what wisdom. Wow, who wrote that?" She said, "You did." I wrote that? Are you serious? When? A couple days ago. I wrote that? Now I want you to understand another thing so that you don't get confused about this idea called instantaneousness, which is how the universe works. Remember I talked about vibration and energy and frequency? Okay. I told you that there is nothing more powerful than human thought. You remember that? Nod your head. Pretend like you're alive. Okay, good. Right. So the secret is that we can instantaneously transform our reality by making the declaration, I am. So in this idea, what I did was, in order for me to do something I have never done before in the 42 years of my existence prior to that moment, not being able to do that ever, the only thing that will allow me to do that is I would have to change frequencies. I would have to dial up the energy and the vibratory frequency to match the universe that has all the knowledge of poetry that ever existed. Every poem ever written is already out in the ether. That expression, that energy will coagulate with all other similar vibrations and create a huge cloud of poetry. I have to tap into that cloud. The only way I can do it with limited knowledge and experience is to simply tune up my frequency and dial to match the frequency that already exists that has all of these energies of poetry. I have to be equal to that idea. So to do that, I have to elevate my frequency. I have to turn my dial up to match the frequency of poetry that already exists. This is where I acquired the knowledge instantaneously. Why? It's already been done by everybody else that writes poetry. I'm not original. Every word I've ever expressed in my poetry, somebody somewhere along the line have used those exact words. Maybe not in the same sequence or order, but those words are not unique to me. So I had to change. I had to upgrade the frequency of my vibration. I call this heightened awareness. Now, heightened awareness is my ability to change levels of vibrational frequency. I have to dial it up. I have to get in tune with the energy that already exists that is of that level, that vibration. But after I write it, somehow I revert back to being an idiot. That means I revert back to my normal state of thinking, which is not heightened awareness anymore, but stupidity and an idiot. So now when I come down, I forgot I even wrote that poem. I don't even remember writing it. Do you understand? This is how it works. So you can go in and out. You can use the vibration of the universe to coagulate and to become of any frequency that already exists. There is nothing you're going to create that's like, wow, I have an original thought. That's your ego talking. All thoughts that you have already came from another thought. That's why you got it. It's not yours. You remember how we go like, wow, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, well, was that yours? That's an original thought. No, it's not. You simply tuned into that frequency, picked up that thought. Remember driving in the car and you're humming a song, you turn on the radio and that song is playing? Duh. That's what it is. You're simply hooking up with the frequency that already exists. When you turn on the radio, the song that you're already humming and singing comes on and you go, wow, imagine that. I was actually thinking about that song. I was singing it before. What amazing. What a coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. When what? When two ideas occupy the same time and space. It's a coincidence. So we have this ability and this power. So anything that you're not, understand you can be it instantly. Instantly. I am. But here's the trick. It must be accompanied by trust, faith, and belief. You cannot walk around all day, I am this, I am that, and go like, well, I don't see the results of it. I'm still stupid. You have to believe that I am this idea, so that means you have to be in sync with that energy, with that vibration, with that frequency. You have to harmonize. You have to be equal to it. You can't be less than it. So for me to be an idea I was never before, I had to elevate my vibration to match that frequency. I had to tune into the frequency of being a poet. When? Now. And as soon as I did that, I received all of the knowledge, skill, ability, and talent to write poetry instantaneously. People would say, that's miraculous. No, it's not. It's natural. That's the way it's supposed to be.